imagine, the moment you start clearing a few trees, you're going to get water coming down here, and you can actually see the water coming down. It'll actually flood the low-cost areas here. It'll just actually come tearing down the hill. So you're going to get flooding, you're going to get soil erosion, soil movement, and the soil here is very unstable. Many reports have already certified that. We are asking, first of all, what's going on, to let the residents have a right to be heard. That is, whatever is going on, whatever plans you may or may not have, you should call the residents, say that these are the plans, these are the so-called reports, and therefore allow the residents to scrutinize those reports, to check whether they are accurate, so on and so forth. We cannot rely on local authority to protect residents anymore, because after the Highland Tower case, the court held that a local authority is not liable for loss of life or property as a result of exercising its power under the Street Drainage and Building Act. So because of that, we can no longer rely on local government to protect us 100%. They should allow the public to have a look for themselves, to check whether the geological report is accurate, the geotech report is accurate, the EIA has been properly done up by professionals, no shortcuts have been taken, so on and so forth. So that's a small portion, 100 over acres, is owned by a private developer. Our negotiations with Dato' Banda was primarily in relation to the DBKL land, which Dato' Banda has in principle agreed about 50% of that land will be protected as part of the Kuala Lumpur Greenbelt area. The balance 50%, Dato' Banda said, while they like to give us 100%, they need to think about social housing for people along Kampong Krunchi, these areas, Pantadam, fine, and social, we are not against social housing. But he said very clearly, no bungalows. We are not going to allow this. It's not for the rich people, it's only for the poor people, and that's only at the low levels under 15 degrees, which we will do. In addition to that, we asked him about this land. What about this private land? Will you allow the developer to go and develop this land and increase the density? To which he told us very clearly, no, we know about the application, we are not going to approve. This was again repeated at the Federal Territories Minister to say, no, we are not going to approve. But then we are very worried, if all this is not going to approve, why are the people going in there, cutting, taking soil testing? We are a little concerned. And we're asking Dato' Banda, please, don't allow them, because this will be a catastrophe greater than the Highland Tower, because you got 21 million litres on the top, you got underground rivers, you got unstable soil structure, you got condominiums, you got houses. If you buy a hill, if you're silly enough to buy a hill, you cannot develop it. You must understand that above 15 degrees, and that's the message that must go out to the developers.
Why the secrecy? We want to know what type of soil testing you're doing, which part of the hill you're doing, at which gradient you're doing, so that we can then also do our own soil testing. We can carry out our own testing to find out for ourselves whether yours is reliable or not. Otherwise, if the Dato' Banda is going to listen to one party only, surely the developer will say, safe, safe, safe. Are we safe? If you think it is safe, why don't you let us see what you're doing? Why don't you let us see what you're doing? We want to go there and see what you're doing, and we want to carry out our own testing. Then we will compare, then we can give our side of the story to the Dato' Banda. You can see that they've already brought a tractor to take equipment up, but they will not allow any one of us to go in. October. Started in October, and they have been here for almost 3 to 4 weeks now. What is the secrecy? If it is so safe, tell the people this is a safe project. Come and see.
Jadi kita haraplah dapat penjelasan dari sini supaya tidak menimbul kerisauan kepada penduduk di kawasan, khasnya di kawasan Bukit Gasing PJ ini. Dan sebagai wakil rakyat kawasan, saya memang berkongsi kerisauan mereka, dan kita haraplah tidak ada apa-apa yang tidak diingini berlaku. Jadi kita harap di BKL akan mengambil tindakan dan mengikut arahan yang diumumkan oleh kementerian masing-masing.
2 months ago only we bought the house in Gasing, Pinda. We haven't moved in yet because we like the greenery, That's why we bought the house. Because after hearing the news they're going to build they're going to demolish and build out, I'm really upset.
Yeah.
Really upset.
So you will do all you can to make sure this project doesn't go through?
Sure.
I actually came here to protest. I think it's not fair to cut the trees down, and I think the people's life are also very important these days.